I'm going to compare both of these budget dash cams to each other. They're both dual channel, meaning they have a front camera as well as a rear camera. So I'll show you guys some daytime footage, both in the front and in the back, as well as some nighttime footage. Start off with the Botslab Dashcam G980H Pro. We got some quick start guides right here, as well as some info and a sticker. Comes with a 64 gig micro SD card. The G980H Pro comes with a 4K StarVis sensor in the front. So we have a little screen right there. And then we basically, this is as much as this part moves that attaches to your windshield. So it is with the double-sided tape right there. And we have some buttons on the bottom. And the micro SD card goes right here on the side. So you have the USB-C for the power, and this is for the rear camera. 12-volt plug right there. It is USB-C, and it is a pretty long cable. Output is 5 volts at 2.4 amps for the USB-C. And if you want to plug in a USB-A over here, it is 5 volts at 2 amps, so it's 10 watts. And we have the rear camera. It is 2K resolution, and the interesting thing about this is it's 360 degrees, so you can point it inside or outside, depending on what you want to record. And it comes with a super long cable. It also comes with the small prying tool. Also included is 2 spare stickers. It does include 2 ESD stickers or static stickers. This is what you attach to your windshield before you use the 3M tape. And you connect the 3M tape to this so it comes off cleanly in case you want to remove it. The REDTIGER F7NP, some info right here. Comes with 4 static stickers, some info, quick start guide, quick book, user manual. It comes with 2 pieces that you slide right in. The front dash cam is a 4K StarVis 2 sensor, which is supposed to offer better low light performance as well as better dynamic range compared to the original 4K StarVis sensor. So it is a suction cup instead of a double-sided tape. I personally prefer the double-sided tape, but this should probably be okay. And then once you get it at the angle you want, you could basically tighten that. On the top, we have the USB-C for the power, and on this side, this is where the rear camera would connect to. Now we have the power on the side. It does come with a micro SD card, so which is 128 gigabyte. The camera, there it is. And as well as we have some buttons on the side right there. The rear camera is a 1080p resolution. It does support that 360 degree spin, so if you want to point it inside or outside the vehicle, you can do that with this. Double-sided tape, as well as we have, this is what would connect to the main dash cam to power it. It's a super long cable as well. We have the 12-volt adapter that connects to the dash cam via USB-C, super long cable. The output on the USB-C is 5 volts at 2.5 amps, and the output on this USB-A, in case you want to use it, is 5 volts at 2 amps. Comes with this prying tool to help hide the wires during the install, and it comes with these cable holders in case you want to use it with double-sided tape. I did want to mention that the Botslab charging adapter, the 12 volt, is much smaller than the REDTIGER one, so they both have USB-As in the back, but this one, Botslab, takes a lot less space. Before we get into the side-by-side comparison, while filming, there was a 4-car accident, and the whole point of having a dash cam is that it can potentially help you out. It doesn't mean it's going to, but it can potentially help out, and that's why I personally like to keep one in the car. At least this is my opinion. Anyways, let's get to the side-by-side comparison. So overall, both look pretty good in terms of the 4K quality. The REDTIGER does look slightly better, and the Botslab does have a slightly wider view, which can help as well. With both of them, it's very easy to read license plates during the day. Very, very easy. As long as it's stopped, it's right in front of you, it's very, very easy to see it. Now, you could tell with the Botslab, the footage is a little more overexposed, and there is an option in the settings to set the manual exposure to -2. So moving forward, I will set it to that, but I did want to film everything with default, and this is what it looks like. As far as the rear cameras, they both look normal. However, the Botslab does look a little bit better. It is slightly higher at 2K resolution over 1080p, and it's also slightly wider. In terms of the nighttime footage, they both look pretty good. However, the REDTIGER does look a little bit better for the nighttime footage. And again, because the Botslab was a little overexposed with the default setting, it was harder. Well, pretty much you couldn't tell the license plates. And that's because in a pickup truck, the headlights are also a little bit higher as well. So it was pointing directly at the license plate, making it harder to read with both cameras. But there was an instance with the REDTIGER that you could have saw it. Now, with the back cameras, you could tell that they're both noisy. However, the REDTIGER is much more noisy compared to the Botslab. Now, the Botslab is also noisy image as well, video I should say. It's not super clear, but with the REDTIGER it's actually less clear. Granted, with both of them you can see what's happening, which is an added bonus obviously. I just turned on the BOTSLAB. We're going to see how long it takes for it to actually go on. We can see the green indicator light went on for the back camera. So it immediately turns on and it starts recording. Well, it takes a few seconds. I shouldn't say immediately, but as soon as power is supplied, it turns on and starts recording. So this is what it looks like. So if you hit any one of these three buttons, the sub menu will appear, and then you can press it again. Stop recording. And it'll actually take you to that menu. So if you want to review your files that it was recording, it's here. Emergency files are here. Parking monitoring, which is an optional cable, which I don't plan on doing, but that would be here, and then your photos would basically be here. And once you go back to this menu, it just automatically starts to record. And then if you want to go to the settings, you could connect your phone, or you could just do it from here. So video resolution, this is for the front camera right here. Loop recording, how long you want the recordings to be, 1 minute, 3 minutes, and 5 minutes, or 5 minutes, not and. Recording, settings, sensitivity, built-in speed, and that covers that. Parking monitoring, I'm going to avoid. It has driver assistance features if you want to enable that. So fatigue reminder, safe driving, assisted driving reminder, and then it should help with the lane assistance as far as I understand. Granted, my car has lane assist, so I personally don't need that. But yeah, it does have some driver assistance features. And speaker volume, this is the main settings: on, off, prompt, device mute, locking beep, screen display. So this is one where you could set a screensaver. So after it's on for 30 seconds, you could turn on screensaver, or after a minute, or you can just not have a screensaver on and just show the video all the time. And for this, you can have the clock show, or you can just have the screen off. Okay, so system language, intelligent voice. So this is another one where you can have it on and you can give it commands and it should do, let's try out a few of them. Okay, so let's go back. Show rear camera. Show front camera. Take photo. Okay, so that's cool. So it understood the commands, which it's cool. I don't know how often I'm going to use that, but it's cool that you can do that. And you can have that off as well. Time synchronization, time, and you could show the 12-hour format or the 24-hour format if you wanted to. GPS info, I'm inside right now, so it's not going to be a good signal. Time format, this is the one where it's 12 or 24 hour. Format memory cards, time zones, and the factory settings. And then this last button just switches between the rear and the front camera. So I wanted to show you guys that the app actually had a download, had an update. So now you can see a picture-in-picture. So these are actually the options now. All right, now we're at the REDTIGER. 3, 2, 1, on. We're going to see how long it takes for this thing to turn on. By the way, for the suction cup mount, it does come with a double-sided tape just around the edges of that, so you can use it that way as well. It was hidden inside the box and I didn't see it, but when I was looking more into it, I actually did come across it. So it's like a O-ring kind of thing. There it is. It turned on, started recording, so it takes a few seconds for it to go on. And then the screensaver, I have it set to 10 seconds just as a heads up. Okay, so let me show you guys. By the way, with the screensaver, it doesn't show the time. There is no option to show the time on the screensaver. You can push this power button until it does show the time, but after 10 seconds, it will go away because the screensaver will activate. And by the way, neither one of these are touchscreen. Okay, so there it is. Okay. So now we go to the menu and you have a few options. So you can go to video, which is just going to go to the basic screen, and you can have the picture-in-picture, which is nice if you want to. You don't have to do that. It's up to you. But it does have that option, which is really nice. Now, if I hit this M button, it takes me to the three options. I can also go to playback. So I have the front cam videos and then the rear cam videos, as well as the photos, and I have the locked one as well. So I can just click on this and it'll show me all the videos here, and then I can press play. And the same with the photos as well. Okay, now when we go to settings, resolution, 4K, and the back is 1080p, both at 25 frames per second. I can lower that resolution. I can turn on sound recording. I could do loop recording, 1, 3, or 5 minutes. I have it set to 3. The G sensor, I just have it set to low. Fatigue reminder is just a reminder to say, basically, if you're getting tired. I don't have that on personally, but it's up to you. Wi-Fi is if you want to connect it with your phone. Click tone, screensavers, this is the one where you can have 10, 30, or 2 minutes, but there is no option to have the time show. At least I didn't see that option. This is flipping the cameras and stuff, GPS, timestamps, speed stamps, GPS stamps, speed unit if you want to do miles or kilometers, language, clock settings, times, daylight savings time, flicker, I just have it set to 60 hertz, and format reminder if you want to get a format reminder to basically format your micro SD card if you wanted to do that or not. And then and then that's pretty much it. You could go to the app as well or just reset all your settings. And this top button, this is the locked video, so if I hit that, it starts blinking yellow. That goes to the lock section where it won't get erased. And then I have to click on the menu button, that's right. And then this is just to take a picture. So if you want to take a picture, I could just do that, press this button to take a picture. And that's pretty much it for this one. This is the BOTSLAB app. You click on the dash cam, you can look at it live, you could click on the replay, which again reads from the micro SD card directly on the dash cam. Dash cam does need to be on, and it will stop recording when you're looking at it, which is also true for the REDTIGER. So you have the different categories, photo, video capture, different ones. Loop video is the main one. The main stuff is going to be there, unless it's emergency video. And these are all the files and stuff, so you could look at that. You could press play on something, and there it is. So this is what the interface itself looks like. And so it shows you kind of which direction you're going, the altitude, and the speed itself. If you download the video, it still doesn't show you on the map, although the lat long is actually on the bottom right. So it looks like the metadata is there, but the app itself will not show you on the map. They might have an update in the future that might show that, but as of now, it doesn't. But basically, if you want to click on something else, you could click on something else, and it loads decently within a decent amount of time, basically, if you're going to the next clip and stuff. So aside from that, you could adjust the settings if you wanted to, very similar to the dash cam itself. Look at your downloads. You could use the driver assistance features. So looking at smart clips, and yeah, that pretty much covers the BOTSLAB app. This is what the app looks like for REDTIGER. You could preview it. You could press playback. The playback is where the files are. Well, the files are on the micro SD card, but via Wi-Fi, your phone can connect to the dash cam while the dash cam is on. And then you could see the footages that were saved, both the front and the back. So if I wanted to click on something, I could see it there. Now, if I were to download this file, which I did with the previous one, it shows you where you are and where you're driving and the speed that you're driving as well, because it can record the GPS info as well. So because of that, it can actually show you your speed and the position and everything as well. So, but you do need to download the file for that to show up. And I know that because this one, it's a little hard to see with the camera, but there's like a little download icon, so I know I downloaded that one. And this one also has a download icon where you could see on the map where it is. But if that's not the case, it's just going to show up like that. And if you want to download it, you can press download. It does take a little bit of time. It's not super fast. It's also not super slow. And it downloads the file directly to the phone. And then once it does that, you basically press back once it's done, and then you can actually see where the position basically of the dash cam. So there it is. To summarize, used both dash cams for about a week, and there were no issues with either one. They both turned on and they both started recording, and honestly, they're both really, really good dash cams, especially for the price. So let's just talk about the main advantages of one over the other. With the BOTSLAB, you're getting a smaller charging plug, which can make a difference in some cars if space is more limited. Number two is you're getting a better resolution rear camera. It's a 2K resolution versus the 1080p in the REDTIGER. And number 3 is you're getting a wider front camera as well as a wider rear camera in the BOTSLAB over the REDTIGER. So you can see a little bit more in the BOTSLAB, which is another advantage. With the REDTIGER, the main advantage that you're getting is that it's an overall better front 4K camera. So even though the BOTSLAB is a 4K camera as well, the REDTIGER is a better 4K camera. It looks a little bit better during the day and it looks a little bit better at night. And that's really its main advantage, is the front camera. It's not as wide though, but that is the main advantage. But with all that said, package-wise, BOTSLAB, you're getting a little bit more just because overall, I think the BOTSLAB is the slightly better choice. And I say slightly because I also like the REDTIGER, but I think that the BOTSLAB does have a slight advantage overall as a package. But let me know which one you guys would pick. Which one did you like? And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Smash the subscribe button. Catch you guys in the next one.